Shoulders up to the ears, back down and forward a few times. And then switch directions with your circles. And then come back to neutral. Extend the arms on an inhale, get a lot of length. Clasp the hands, flip the palms, maybe lean back a little bit. And then hands in front of the heart, round through the upper back. Drop the chin to the chest. Take 3 deep breaths, trying to move the shoulder blades away from each other. See if you can make a separation between the shoulder blades. And 1 more breath here. And on the exhale, slowly release the hands. Fingertips next to the hips, drop the chin to the chest, and then right ear to the right shoulder. I will mirror you, right ear to the right shoulder. You might reach the left fingertips out a little bit, and you can move the arm around a little bit. You'll feel a difference in where the stretch is. And then chin back to the chest, second side, left ear to the left shoulder, and you can reach the right fingertips out, and again, move the arm around a little bit. And you'll feel just that little bit of an energetic shift and physical shift changes the whole stretch. Chin back to the chest, and then lift the head, clasp the hands behind the back, get some length, and then a gentle fold forward. Lift the hands towards the ceiling. Shoulders away from the ears. 2 more deep breaths here. Long exhales. And then come back through center, shake that out. In fact, let's rotate through the wrists a little bit. One way and then the other way. Nice, everybody. And then cat and cow from tabletop. Let's find our tabletop. If you have a blanket, you can use that underneath your knees. Make sure that your wrists are underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And a very slow cat and cow. Move at a yin pace. Round through the upper back in your cat pose. Lead with the tailbone tonight. Lead with the tailbone in your cat and cow. You might even come back a little bit farther in your cat, coming up on the fingertips, or even coming into a modified cobra, yogi's choice. Look over one shoulder, then the other shoulder. Just be very organic about it. Couple more breaths here. And then back to a neutral spine. Grab your pool noodle. Grab your pool noodle. So at home, we're using pool noodles tonight. And we're gonna come into a Sphinx pose. So that pool noodle, you're gonna lie down on the belly. Come to the forearms, and the pool noodle can either go just below or just above the hip points. You might have to wiggle around a little bit, level out the sacrum, make sure your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders, and then let the legs be heavy. Relax the legs, shoulders away from the ears. You can drop the chin to the chest again. And try and be still. So the first full yin pose of the evening. Take the first few minutes, or first minute or so, to adjust and fidget and move the prop if you need to, move the arms if you need to. And then find a place that you can be still in. Find your fidget-free zone. Once you are in that place, take a couple of breaths. Transition breaths, relaxation breaths, breaths with big inhales, and then long exhales. Let the hips feel heavier. So our target area for the Sphinx pose, especially with the pool noodle here, is going to be the hip flexor and all of that connective tissue around the front of the hips. But also the curve in the low back. So I'll take a couple more breaths here. And then you can stay in your Sphinx pose or turn this into a seal by rotating the fingertips towards the top corners of your mat. And straighten the arms, relax the shoulders. So there is some muscle engagement in this pose, which normally in a yin pose we try and take all of the muscle engagement out. But it's the beginning of class and we're trying to get the hips open a little more by releasing the tension in the psoas and the hip flexor. Relax the jaw, make space between the top teeth and the bottom teeth. And maybe scan the body even. See where you're holding tension. See if you can use the exhale to release that tension. Three more breaths here. Make the exhales long. Last deep breath in. Pause at the top of the inhale. And then on a very long exhale, leave the noodle where it's at, come all the way down. You can make a pillow with the hands for the face or reach the fingertips back towards the toes to release the shoulders. I will just stay here. So we're going to take a rebound. A rebound pose is a rest pose, either on your belly or your back. Could be on your side too. We'll take about 60 seconds here in this rebound. Breathe through any sensations that you may feel. Those sensations could be heat, tingling, aching. They will go away very quickly. As slowly as you can move, come back up to the forearms, almost like a Sphinx pose. And we are going to go into happy shoulders. Weave the right arm behind the left. Try and match up the elbows rather. Try and match up the elbows, rotate the palms up towards the ceiling, and you're gonna have to kind of wiggle the elbows around to get it into the right spot for yourself. And then once you're there, shoulders away from the ears, drop the chin towards the chest. Shoulders away from the ears, chin towards the chest. If you want, you can use your block for the forehead. Rest your block on your forehead. One more deep breath here. And then very slowly on a long exhale, wiggle the arms out, come back down to the belly. And again, either release the fingertips down towards the toes, or you can make a pillow with the hand for the face. And take a rebound, take a rest pose here. Any kind of rebound. Try and relax the hips. Take the tension out of the low back. And come back up to the forearms. And second side, weave the left arm behind the right, matching up the elbows, rotate the palms up towards the ceiling, and then there's no exact science. You just kind of have to wiggle the elbows around, the arms around till you get to the right spot. You want to feel it between the shoulder blades if possible. Shoulders away from the ears, drop the chin towards the chest. Relax the arms. Palms are rotated up. And just breathe. Breathe in between the shoulder blades again. Isn't that a crazy thing that a yoga teacher would say? But what I mean by that is when you inhale, just like we did earlier in the beginning of class, see if you can make the shoulder blades move apart on the inhale. Expand through the upper back. And then on the exhales, relax even more. Soften down towards the mat. Come into your focus or your meditation. Maybe that's just picturing a color and keeping the focus on that color, even if that color is lit, like a bright ball of red or orange or yellow. One more deep breath here. And then slowly come back up, wiggle the arms out. Find a rest pose on the belly again. Find your rest pose, your rebound pose on your belly. Bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, and then windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Yeah, you can keep the noodle there. If it's bothering you, you can remove it now. Let's try not to throw your props at me. Bring the feet back through center, all the way back down to the earth. Coming up to your tabletop, now remove your noodle. And come through to a seated pose. Easy seated pose, not easy seated pose, I'm sorry, straight legs, straight legs. You can use your noodle again here though. If you have, especially have knee issues, you can place your noodle underneath your knees. You can sit on a blanket if you would like. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Feet about as wide as the mat. Simple forward fold, feet relaxed out to the side. Take a deep breath here, then on the exhale, roll forward. You can use your prop. You can use a block if you have one. Probably be better if I had two right now. But you can rest your forehead on a block if you'd like. Arms wherever they're comfortable. Just staying in your easy forward fold. Round through the upper back. Relax the shoulders. Once you find your place that you can be still in, take a couple of transition breaths. Deep breaths in, very long exhales out. Every time you exhale, try and sink down a little more. Try letting go of any muscle engagement that you might have. Muscle tension, anything that you're holding onto in your back and your legs. And then as always, come back to your focus, your meditation. If you're getting distracted, check in with whatever is bothering you, and then just make a promise to come back to your mat. Be present on your mat. Deep breath in. See if you can make the back of the ribs move on the inhale. Hold it. And then on a very long exhale, slowly roll up. Head comes up last. Set all of your props to the side. And go ahead and lie down on your back. Take a rebound pose on your back. Arms can rest along the side. You can relax the feet, relax the face. Reach the arms above the head, stretch like you're just waking up in the morning. Point the toes, arch the back. Deep breath in. Reach a little more, and then on the exhale, draw the knees into the chest, imprint the low back on the mat, and start to rock side to side a little bit. And then make circles with the low back on the mat. Make your circles small to begin with, and then progressively become bigger, even getting into the glutes a little bit. And then eventually switch directions. And come back to neutral. Just the right knee into the chest. Stretch the left leg out long. And then take a half happy baby. Half happy baby. Right hand to the sole of the right foot. Foot above the knee. Knee in line with the hip. Ish, outside of the ribs. Relax the left foot down. If you have a strap and you need a strap around your foot, you can use that. Relax the left arm. You can close the eyes or find a focus point in the ceiling. So once you're settled in, we won't be here as long as we are some of the other yin poses. We'll only be here for a couple of minutes. But once you're settled in, take your transition breaths again. Some deep breaths in, long exhales out. So half happy baby, I've mentioned this before in classes, half happy baby is the same as dragon but upside down. We have flipped our dragon upside down, but it is more gentle on the knees and the hips. And sometimes it's more gentle on the attitude too. You got about 10 more breaths here. Now, if you do have a strap and you have the strap around your foot, try not to pull too much because this isn't a hatha pose, it's a yin pose. We're letting gravity and our body relaxing do all of the work. Stay with your focus or your meditation. And then bring that right knee back into the chest. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and bring the right foot up towards the ceiling. You can clasp the hands behind the thigh and point and flex the foot, rotate through the ankle a little bit. Just to do a little more warm up before the next pose. And spread the toes out, scrunch them back up. And then finally, rebend the knee, bend the left knee also. Set the sole of the left foot on the mat. Reclined pigeon, reclined pigeon. So our reclined form of sleeping swan and yin. Cross the right ankle over the left, and then draw the left knee in towards the chest. You can clasp the hands behind the thigh or the shin. And then finally, you can bring the legs a little farther to the left, especially if you have been running or cycling. That feels really great in your IT band, which is on the outside of the leg, between the knee and the hip. And then once you have settled in, take a couple of transition breaths. Deep breaths in, pause at the top of the inhale, and then long exhale out. Bring the sole of the left foot back to the earth, uncross the right leg, and then straighten the legs out. Take a rebound pose, take a rest pose. So all of those sensations that you feel in the rebound, eventually you might get some popping and cracking, and those are good things. That's something called defixation. It's a fancy pants word for meaning that you're making space in the body. Relax the face again. And maybe even start some rooting and grounding if you haven't already. Rooting down from the entire back of the body, making a connection to the earth underneath you. Take a deep breath in and reach the arms over the head again. Point the toes, arch the back. And then knees bent, soles of the feet on the earth. Heel toe the feet as wide as the mat, and windshield wiper the legs several times. Knees to the right, back through center to the left. And then bring the knees back to neutral. Just the left knee into the chest. Just the left knee into the chest. Stretch the right leg out. You can make a few circles here if you want. Making circles with the knee. And then half happy baby again, left side. So hand to the sole of the left foot. Foot above the knee, knee to the outside of the ribs. Relax the right foot down. Use your strap if you need to. You can wrap your strap around the sole of the left foot. And then settle in. Take your transition breaths. 10 more breaths. Use the exhales to relax and let go. And then finally bring the left knee back into the chest. And then the foot up towards the ceiling for a moment. You can clasp the hands behind the thigh, point and flex the foot, rotate through the ankle. Spread the toes out, scrunch them back up. So I can hear my own defixation. And then bend the right knee, sole of the right foot to the earth, cross the left ankle over the right. And reclined pigeon, second side, reclined sleeping swan. Draw the knee into the chest, the right knee into the chest, clasp the hands around the shin or the thigh. And then finally, you can move the legs a little farther to the right to get into the IT band. And again, even though you're reaching forward, try and relax the shoulders. Let the earth support your shoulders. Once you're done with your fidgets, take a couple of transition breaths again. Deep breaths in, long exhales out. And after your third exhale, release the hands, uncross the ankles. Yeah. Find your way to a rebound. Straighten your legs out, lie down on your back.